Alright guys, so today is currently October 21st, 2024, and this morning I took a trade which resulted in a $17.04 win. And yeah, let's just get into it. So basically we're currently on Top Step. I went in a short position on NAS 100, and basically we took partials. We sold 2 contracts to lock in a $57 profit, and then price reversed on us, and then we got stopped out and took a $37 loss, and that's how we resulted in $17.04. And this is also including the fees that I had to pay, I guess, for taking the shorts. But yeah, let's just get into it. So basically we're on the NQ chart right now. As you can see here, price break structure continues higher, and at this point I'm looking for price to potentially retrace to this hourly fair value gap before continuing higher, right? As you can see, we did sweep all this liquidity, and honestly, I'm gonna be real, this trade was kind of iffy in terms of the higher time frame bias, and that's honestly because we break structure, I'm looking for a retracement towards equilibrium and a potential inefficiency to continue higher, right? And that's why I thought taking this trade was a little bit risky, but honestly this whole trade was based off the lower time frames. I believe it's the 5 and the 1 minute, but yeah, let me show the 1 hour right here. So yeah, retracement to continue higher. So on the 5-minute time frame, we marked out this fair value gap right over here, and basically the whole thought process behind taking this short was that we did get SMTs on NQ and ES right here. So let's see, we have NQ SMTs going lower, and then on ES we have SMTs going higher. So basically we are currently right here. Once SMT forms, I decided to take a short entry. Actually, that's a lie. SMTs didn't even form yet. We actually just took the 5-minute fair value gap right over here. So I placed my limit order at the top of this fair value gap. And the reasoning behind this is that we had to break a structure lower. We displaced, created a fair value gap. And yeah, I just set my limit order at the top of the 5-minute right here, the 5-minute fair value gap. And so we got entered, SMT formed, which gave me more confidence in my bias. And yeah, I mean, clearly we're in a downtrend, right? And taking out all this liquidity. And honestly, I was looking for price to continue to this hourly fair value gap. It did make me hesitate a little bit, but we weren't really in a, the SMT on the higher time frame wasn't in a inefficiency, so I wasn't too worried about that. But it actually did kind of, made me rethink my entry, right? So basically, we take an entry short, and at the start, I believe the risk to reward was actually horrendous. Yeah, it's basically this, right? So what happened was, this was the risk to reward of 1.78. We got entered into our trade, SMTs formed, I'm confident, price continues lower, and we hit a 1-to-1 R right over here, I believe, right? So this is where I set my first take profit, and this is where I took off 2 contracts for a $57 win. And at this point, when price did come down here, we were up around $100, right? And I just wanted to take partials because, I still believed price could continue lower. And once I actually took off the partials, I moved the stop loss from up here to this high over here to reduce the risk, right? And as you can see, price started to reject off this 15-minute fair value gap, which honestly made me hesitate a little bit. And yeah, I mean, it made me hesitate because I didn't really like seeing this push up and breaking past these fair value gaps. But you know what? I did reduce the risk, so I wasn't too bummed out about it. However, it does suck that price came all the way up here, took out the 2M high, it literally wicked it out right here, and price went all the way back down, right to the original TP. Now, honestly, I am definitely iffy in terms of like moving the stop loss to lower or even break even. I honestly do think it was the right move, but clearly, as you can see here, had I just left my stop loss at the original position, price would have just went up and then went back down. But, you know, I'm still like getting used to taking partials and reducing risk. I'm trying to get a feel for it. So yeah, I mean, that was pretty much it for this trade. Not too much to say about that, but yeah, we got 2 contracts TP here, and then we got stopped out, like literally right over here. It is what it is. We did end up taking a win, so I'll definitely take that. Alright guys, so today's currently October 22nd, and this morning I took 2 trades, one in the London session, one in the New York session. And in the London session, I took a $200 loss because I was taking it long and I honestly didn't think price needed to go lower. However, in hindsight, maybe I did miss a couple things, right? So basically, on the 1 hour time frame, what I did was basically marked out the hourly fair value gap. And at this point, I honestly didn't think price needed to go lower. And that was because, look, we already came down here once, came down here twice. This candle came all the way down and went right back up, right? So price is showing signs of rejecting this area. Honestly, in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have taken this trade because price swept this buy side liquidity resting up here already, right? So there was really no reason for price to continue lower, to continue higher. We also had the hourly fair value gap up here that price was clearly rejecting off of. But basically, I saw it as, okay, price displaced higher, we broke structure higher, and once we came down to this fair value gap right over here, I believe it was actually a 5-minute fair value gap right over here. I set a limit order at discounted prices, and yeah, as you can see, we tapped into our limit order. Eventually, yeah, price just went straight down. So that's what happened with this trade. You know, kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I wasn't too disappointed. Like for this trade, I actually waited like a pretty long time for price to hit my entry. I actually I didn't FOMO into price, which is a plus for sure. How I should have approached this trade was, as you can see here, we had a hourly fair value gap, right? Price tapped into this hourly fair value gap. We swept this previous hourly highs, our sweep, and usually when there is a sweep, I notice price usually continues lower. So hourly sweep, go into the lower time frames, and then we look for a short entry. So this was a sweep, swing, get some kind of displacement. So right over here would have been like phenomenal. We displaced lower, create a fair value gap, retrace into this fair value gap to continue lower. Like that would have been a perfect setup right over there. And as you can see, if I play price forward, price went all the way down to the hourly fair value gap that was right over here. So yeah, I mean, that was all for the first trade. I'll actually show you guys the trade history right here. As you can see, we took a $200 loss and then some fees. So the total for both the total loss for both trades, including the fees, sorry, it's just the one loss and then the 2 fees, was around $206.66. So yeah, I mean, that's all for the first trade. Let's just get to the second trade. Alright guys, so moving on to the next trade in the New York session. We're currently on the hourly time frame. We have a hourly fair value gap resting right over here. We have hourly sweeps. As you can see, price went up, swept this previous hourly high, and then continued lower, right? And we also have the hourly draw on liquidity marked right here. but let's just get into it. So at this point, when I saw the hourly sweep into this hourly fair value gap, I saw that price started to reject this area, right? And usually when there is an hourly sweep, price continues lower. Even though I had a long bias, I was looking for price to retrace lower before continuing higher, right? So here we had a break of structure higher. I was looking for price to retrace into some kind of equilibrium, like the 0.5 right here, or the 15-minute fair value gap before continuing higher to this 1 hour draw on liquidity, right? So I was looking to take short positions. And basically, we're moving on to the 1 minute time frame. This is where I took the short. So New York opened, or sorry, the 10 a.m. session starts, we continue higher, right? We go into the hourly fair value gap, and at this point, I'm thinking price can continue lower, right? So we make a swing low, price comes back down. This honestly isn't really considered a break of structure at all, but I was looking for price to continue lower at this point. So I took an entry at this inverse fair value gap right over here. And once price got to this area, we set a limit order and we went short. I felt really good about this trade. There wasn't really any doubt or fear when I took it. And I think it was honestly just because we swept the hourly highs into an hourly fair value gap that we started to reject off of. I was looking for price to draw towards equilibrium or some kind of fair value gap or order block below equilibrium, right, in discount before continuing higher. So yeah, I mean, honestly, it worked out. I'll take a $264 win any day, and especially after taking a $200 loss. I think the overall profit was around like $57, but you know what, better than taking a loss, so I'll take what I could get. Anyways guys, I'll catch you in the next trade. Alright guys, so it's currently October 23rd, 2024, and I took a long position on NASDAQ this morning, and we took a loss. Really sucks, but you know what, it is what it is. There are definitely some things I did want to go over. I should have done some things, or waited for some things to happen before taking this trade. But basically, the whole thought process behind this was that, let me actually go back to replay mode. So basically, this trade was taken after the 10 to 11 a.m. Silver bullet session, which usually I don't trade, but from previous backtesting, I do notice that there are definitely still some opportunities, right? So I decided to take this one. We're on the 1 hour time frame. Price sweeps these hour lows right here and right over here, but we never get towards this one right here. This doesn't count, right? This played out after I took the entry into the trade. Let's just stick with this, right? We have an hourly sweep, and I'm looking for price to continue higher. When we got the hourly sweep to the downside, there was no other confluence like a fair value gap or SMT to increase the confidence in this trade, right? I mean, I guess there is a fair value gap here on the hourly, but this wasn't really a great confluence, right? I prefer a fair value gap with SMTs, but you know, I still took the trade. I should have waited for a stronger confluence. Let's just go to the 1 minute. So here we had the hourly sweep. Price broke structure higher, right? We had a fair value gap right over here. Sorry, I think that was a 5 minute. We had a fair value gap right over here, this really small one, and that's where I set my limit order, right? I only risked one contract. I mean, the risk to reward was pretty kind of bad. I mean, it wasn't great. 1.14 risk to reward. So I think I lost around like $130 something on this trade. But yeah, we entered on this very tiny fair value gap right over here. Let me actually delete this. And as you can see, price just continued lower without us, right? You know, I was honestly hoping that we got the hourly sweep. Price on the lower time frame broke structure higher,
and we retraced into a fair value gap, and I was looking to take out these resting buy side right here. But as you can see, that didn't happen. What did happen was a break of structure lower right over here. Price retraced into this fair value gap to continue lower. So definitely something I gotta work on for sure. Let's just see. I noticed like the hourly sweeps work in some cases versus others, but I just gotta figure that out first. So yeah, I mean, like here we got the hourly sweep up here, price continue lower. I guess I should have identified more of a draw on liquidity. Not too much to say about this one. We just took a loss. I'll show you guys the top sub account. We took like $136.50 loss right over here, not including fees. And yeah, I mean, it sucks, but we did minimize risk in terms of risking less. Yeah, that was the whole reason. I did risk only one contract because I didn't have full conviction in this trade. And you know what? I'm okay with the outcome. But for next time, definitely should wait for a higher time frame fair value gap with an SMT, or like even lower time frame SMT, right? Before taking any reversal trades, especially since price came down all the way here, right? So yeah, just something to keep in mind. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next trade. As you can see here, this is the demo account. It's looking pretty horrendous, but luckily it's just a demo. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next trade.
All right, guys. So today is currently October 24th, 2024. And I took two trades today. One in the London session and the other one in the New York session. Both resulted in winners. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Let's just get into it. So basically in the London session, I took a long trade on NQ. And the whole thought process was that, okay, on the 1 hour, we do have a break of structure lower, right? And I honestly didn't think price needed to continue lower because we already took out all this buy side we took out all this sell side liquidity right here, right? But also, if we were to continue lower, I was looking for price to potentially retrace somewhere up here before continuing down, right? But mainly it was because we took out all this sell side over here. So at this point, I didn't really see a need for price to come lower. Also, if we zoom in here, we have a 1 hour fair value gap that price is currently rejecting off of, right? We also have a 1 hour sweep with SMTs right over here. So let's go to the 15-minute. We have a hourly fair value gap, and within it we have the 15-minute fair value gap, right? And I'll show you guys the SMT on ES right over here. So SMTs going higher on ES, and then on NQ we have SMTs going lower. So we have higher time frame inefficiency, which is the fair value gaps, and then we have the SMT within the fair value gap. So at this point, I'm confident that price will reverse. So as for the entry, I think it was a 1 minute fair value gap that was located right here. Yeah, so there was a 1 minute fair value gap right over here, right? Actually, what happened was I had a limit order right over here at the bottom of this fair value gap. But instead of going long, I accidentally put 5 contracts short. So when I got entered into the trade, I was like, why does my TP look different, right? I thought my TP should be up here, not down here, right? And I noticed that, oh shit, I was in a short position. So I quickly exited out of that trade for I think like a $2 profit. And then price continued lower, right? So eventually I just targeted this fair value gap right over here. Let me delete this. There was a fair value gap right over here. My entry was at the bottom. And as you can see, our entry was like golden. Like this, sorry. We faced basically no drawdown at all. We got entered in right here. Price continued straight to TP. I think we made around like 270 something on this trade. I'll show you guys the trade history later, but yeah, I thought that was honestly pretty cool. And also another reason why I thought price would continue back up here was because before the 3 a.m. candle opened, right, we were generating buy side right over here. So we had previous highs right here. Price came up but never swept these highs. So once price came back down, I'm like, okay, I can expect price during the 3 to 4 a.m. silver bullet session to continue up to take out the highs, right? So yeah, that's what price did. This is definitely one of the cleaner trades I've taken in a while, honestly, like facing no drawdown and then just going straight to TP. I definitely did miss out on quite a bit, which honestly I kind of expected. What I could have done or was take out partials and then let one run, but this trade was kind of was pretty quick, so that's why I didn't really think much of it. Like I just saw price continue up, and then yeah, I mean, just hit our TP, and that was basically it. So as for the TP, it was just at the previous high right here, and then the stop loss was at I was risking around, I think, like $200, but I put the stop loss. Oh, actually no, like my goal was to risk $200 just as a peace of mind. I put the stop loss to start at the bottom of the hourly fair value gap, right? So yeah, and then once price moved up, I just slowly reduced the risk. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the London trade. Let's just get into the New York trade. All right, guys. So for the New York session trade, basically we're on the 1 hour time frame. We had a 1 hour sweep, and also price was rejecting off the hourly fair value gap. You know, unfortunately, we did not get any SMTs, but at this point, I was looking for price to continue higher, right? Because we just swept the hourly, and yeah, I mean, I believe that price would continue up. So basically, we get a sweep, price continues higher, and at this point, I'm looking for price to potentially retrace into these fair value gaps on the 15 minute over here. Let's actually just go to the 1 minute. So here we have a 1 minute break of structure, right over here. And then price retraced lower to this order block, rejected it off, continued lower, and then eventually we had generated buy side right over here, right? At this point, I'm looking for price to take out this buy side. So price continues lower, we displace, and my initial entry was at the order block, but I low-key started to like question this trade as well. So I actually decided to close this. I decided to close the limit order, right? And then I just kept looking at price, and honestly, I was just like, okay, I honestly think that price can continue higher to take out this buy side up here. That's what I had conviction in, right? So eventually, I placed a contract, or I think I placed like 4 or 5 contracts right over here. Actually, no, it was 3 contracts, right? Yeah, it was 3 contracts. So yeah, here was my limit entry, and honestly, I got really lucky with this entry as well. I mean, yeah, we basically faced like no drawdown, and at this point, right, we get entered and price continues all the way up to take out these highs, right? That's what the target was. And as you can see, we actually never hit our initial TP. And once price went up to this area, I did start to move my stop loss to reduce the risk. And so eventually we moved it to the previous swing low, right? And at this point, I was 3 contracts in, right? I think I was up around like 300 something. And basically, at this point, when price was up here, I was like, yo, what should I do? Should I just move my stops to break even and just let it ride, right? Because honestly, at the time, I thought price could at least hit this high right here, right? But then, you know, price started retracing, and I kind of just like got scared that price would continue all the way back down. So I decided to take 2 contracts off, and I locked in like $185, and I just left the 1 contract running, right? So we took 2 off, left 1 running, and then we moved stops to break even. So at this point, it was honestly risk-free, right? And as you can see here, thank God I did take off the 2 contracts, because had I just left all 3 contracts on, we would have gone stopped out. We would have gone stopped out. And so the last contract, I did end up getting stopped out, which sucks because we were up like around 300. Now, like we're only up like 180 something, 190 something. But yeah, honestly, I think that was the right decision. That was the correct move. And if I play price forward, price literally just went all the way back down, right? Retraced off this fair value gap and then continued higher to take out our initial TP. So, I mean, that'll be all for this trade. I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, guys. So today is currently October 25th, 2024. And this morning, it's Friday. I did not end up taking any trades because I didn't miss it. I just never got entered into the trade. So I'll just quickly go over the thought process on the trade I wanted to take today, but never got entered into. So yeah, basically we're on the 1 hour time frame for both the NASDAQ and then the S&P, right? We have SMTs going up on NASDAQ and SMTs going down on ES. When I saw this, we had SMTs in a 1 hour time frame order block, right? So at this point, I think price can potentially continue lower. Another confluence is that we swept the previous hourly high. So swept the previous hourly high, SMTs inside of a higher time frame inefficiency, like an hourly order block. So yeah, I thought price would continue lower. And let's go to the 15 minute. So here I have the 15-minute time frame, and there's a fair value gap marked right over here, and there's another one up here, right? So yeah, I was looking for price to at least draw towards this fair value gap and to at least equilibrium of the range from the bottom to the top right over here. So let's just go to the 1 minute time frame, and I'll show you guys exactly what happened. So basically, this would have been outside of the 10 to 11 a.m. silver bullet, but I noticed that, it's okay. It's okay if it is. Like, I'd like to, preferably I'd like to stay within this 1 hour time frame, but if we go outside of it, I honestly think it's fine. So basically, at this point, higher time frame confluences of price going lower, right? I was waiting for a swing low to get formed and then a displacement lower, which is what we got here. And I mean, I guess you could even consider this a swing low with displacement lower, right? And so there was a fair value gap right over here, right? I was looking for price to go to the top of this fair value gap over here. And as you can see, we never hit it. Like, we were so close to getting entered into this trade, but we just never got entered. Price literally almost entered us in and then went down. So the initial trade was the stops at the top right here at the high, entry at the top of this fair value gap over here, and then the TP would be at the 15-minute fair value gap. So as you can see, never got entered into the trade, but price ended up continuing down here. You know what? It is what it is. Like, I didn't want to. I mean, I definitely did miss out on this opportunity because I wanted like a better entry, but that's the cost of wanting a better entry, right? Honestly, we could have even taken an entry at the bottom or even the middle of this fair value gap, and we still would have gotten entered into the trade. But we never did. So I mean, I guess it is kind of greedy, but I'm honestly fine with it because I wanted a better entry. And it was unfortunate we didn't get it, but it is what it is. So, I mean, there was definitely quite some potential for this trade, in my opinion. but we just never got entered. So, you know, it is what it is. Anyways, guys, that'll be all for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching. Please remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Oh, and there's also a link in the description below for a free Discord server. Basically, I'm just trying to create a community of new traders or like-minded people, and I hope we could all learn together. So I look forward to seeing you guys there. And as always, remember to stick to your plan. You know, stay disciplined. I actually, like, this week felt pretty good, not gonna lie. Like, we did end up in a profit for this week, but also, like, I feel like something just clicked. I'm not sure what it was, but I feel like something changed this week, and I'm honestly really excited to see what the future holds for us. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to jinx anything, but yeah. Anyways, guys, that'll be all for now. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.